Hello, everyone. I'm going to ask you this question. Do you want to change the world? Um, I think most of us, if asked that question, would probably say yes. We do want to change the world. We want to make the world a better place. We want to have an impact. And many of us just don't know how. What would we do to change the world? How would we make a difference? Can we make a difference? Well, I'm here to tell you that you definitely can. And it doesn't take something huge. It doesn't take something like a big stage or a large presence or a lot of money, or you don't have to do anything incredible because we can all change the world and we can change it, one step at a time, one small ripple. I don't have any guests today because I wanted to talk to you and share an experience I had recently. A few weeks ago, my guest was Mackenzie Stanton, and she talked about the Worldchangers Movement and how she had always wanted to make a big difference. And I was connected with Mackenzie and had the honor of being part of her first Worldchangers Movement retreat. And a group of 11 of us went to Fiji last week. We spent a week in Fiji. We spent a couple days or a day and a half in LA before we went to Fiji. And, we had done a 6 weeks challenge leading up to that. So we set some goals and we set some rewards and we set some consequences. For me, I had my goals. I had a number of goals that I had to hit, and our goals were action-based goals, ones we had complete control over, and then results-based goals, ones that we didn't have control, but if we did the right actions, the results should hopefully come. And the reward, if we reached 100% on one and 75% on the other, we would get our consequence or our reward. And if we missed that, we would get our consequence. For me, my reward is a weekend of just doing whatever I want, no work, no obligations to anyone else, just really taking the time to enjoy it and do what I want. And I'm happy to say I made my reward. And I'm looking forward to that weekend. I haven't scheduled it yet, but I'm looking forward to it. My consequences was getting a crew cut. And my husband, Frank, is really happy that I didn't do that because he likes my hair. Well, I love my hair too, but getting a crew cut would have been really difficult. So the challenge was part of it, because if you want to change the world, the first step is to change yourself. You need to be willing to set goals and reach those goals, and you need to be willing to do the things that are required. And they don't have to be big, so the goals could be small, the goals could be minor. It's just, setting an intention and living that intention is really a big part of changing the world. And the next step is changing the world is, part of this, let me stop a minute and let me talk a little bit about the event, because I think there's a lot of lessons here and I wanted to share this. And Worldchangers is continuing. I hope if you hear this, you'll want to be part of it. We're going to have more retreats. We're going to spread, and we're going to have, even if you don't want to travel the world or have retreats, we're going to have an amazing community. The people I met, I know we're going to be friends for life. We're going to be traveling together. We're going to be making a difference together. And that community is a big part of changing the world. And our community isn't just the 11 of us. It now includes a number of people in Fiji, and it's spreading by the day. But first, we started the event in Los Angeles, and we did a scavenger hunt with the goal of changing the world in LA and connecting with people. And it was a lot of fun. And we also made a difference. We heard some great world changer stories from people who wanted to change the world. We talked to people who were making a difference, and we encouraged some other people. Connecting with those people who you may know or you may not know, talking to strangers is part of changing the world, because one of the ways we change the world is through our community. Everyone in this world, we're all beautiful, we're all perfect, we're all extraordinary people, and together is how we're going to change the world. So that if you follow us at worldchanger.me, you'll see some videos from the scavenger hunt. They're posted on Instagram. And you can see it was a lot of fun, and it required us to get outside our comfort zone. So that's one of the other steps in changing the world. you have to get outside your comfort zone a little bit. Going to Fiji was a little bit outside my comfort zone. I had never been that far away. Other than Mackenzie, I had never met the other people in person. And who knew if, we were going to get along. I didn't know much about Fiji. And it was the most amazing experience. It was probably one of the best things I've ever done in my life. So getting outside your comfort zone, doing something that stretches you, that's also part of changing the world. So now to Fiji. If you have never been to Fiji, I would put this on your bucket list. Yes, it's a group of islands, 333 islands in the middle of the Pacific, and it's beautiful. The islands are beautiful. The waters are crystal clear blue. The vegetation are beautiful. But that's not what made Fiji amazing. What made Fiji amazing was the people in Fiji. From the moment we stepped off the plane, there were smiles. And actually, before that, when we were in Fiji, we met Alice, or what? We were in LA. Sorry, my dog's barking. When we were in LA, she stop, go. We met a woman named Alice from Fiji. She was on the shuttle to the airport. And Alice was so friendly and so warm and giving us tips. And she just got us really excited about getting there. And Alex was exceptional, but she wasn't the exception. Every single person I met in Fiji was warm and welcoming and happy. Smiles. Everyone smiled. It was amazing. And we missed that in the world. While we were in Fiji, some awful things happened in the rest of the world. We had the Charlie Kirk murder. We had people being attacked. We had laws passed by the Supreme Court allowing us to discriminate and racial profile at airports. A lot of things that did not have the speed. They changed the world, but not for the better. And being in Fiji was hope. Being in Fiji showed us what was possible. Because the people in Fiji, they don't live by the same standards we do here in the US and a lot of other countries. They don't have everything. They don't have huge houses. They don't have so many material possessions. What they do have is a sense of joy, a sense of happiness, a sense of being alive and enjoying it every minute of every day. And that was the best part about Fiji, the people. It was the best thing. Everyone we met, some of these people, I miss them. I've been back for about 4 days and I miss seeing them every day. One in particular, Inosi, worked at the resort we stayed at. He sang every night. Such a beautiful voice. And yet he did everything else. That's the thing. The people in Fiji at the resort, they weren't just stuck with their jobs. They did whatever they needed to show us love. And it was just an incredible thing. So if you've never been to Fiji, go to Fiji, experience the people there, because they're like nowhere else I've ever met in the world. I've met a lot of really amazing people in my travels, yet I've never been to a place where everyone I met was amazing, where everyone was happy, where everyone was friendly, where everyone had a smile, and it just brought joy to us. So people. So how do you change the world? Connecting with people is one of those. Sharing their culture, learning what's different, being curious, asking questions, finding out about their lives. That's one of the things we did in Fiji that was so amazing. How else do you change the world? Talking about it. One of the things we did in Fiji was we gave speeches, Worldchanger speeches, and our whole trip, our whole experience is going to be made into a documentary. In that documentary, and it'll be a docu-series because all the retreats will be part of this. But in that documentary, you'll get to hear our speeches, and when I have it, I'll share mine. But we didn't just give speeches. We actually got some amazing coaching on our talk. Mackenzie's uncle was Steve Jardine, and Steve was a Harvard professor. He is a communication specialist, and he has worked with presidents, prime ministers, politicians, people all over the world on their speeches. And he has taught this amazing class at Harvard and all over the world. And he gave us that class, and he critiqued our speeches, and he gave us tips, which made them even better. So I've learned so much from Steve. Steve changed my life, my speeches, And I'm going to then take this and use it in future talks and change the world. Because how you change the world is by talking about it, by sharing your stories, by sharing your experiences, and by connecting with other people. Changing the world requires you to share. Changing the world requires you to believe, to know change is possible. And we saw this firsthand. One of the things we did in Fiji was we had a give back day where we went to place called Laloma Children's Home. It was an orphanage for children and for unwed mothers, people who had no place else to go. And that truly was the highlight of the trip. We went there and we shared with the students, the children there. They all told us what they wanted to be when they grew up and how they were doing in school. And doctors and nurses and pilots and flight attendants and soldiers and policemen. These children who literally had nothing, lived in this home. All they had was love and joy and support. And a family created, not their family by birth, but a family they created by being together. And they gave us so much more than we gave them. We got to spend time with them. We got to play ball with them. We tossed a rugby ball around. We got to dance and sing with them. They showed us their home. They showed us their animals. They showed us the vegetables they grew. They were so proud. And these children helped us believe that changing the world was possible, because these children were brought into the world with nothing, with not much hope, with a bad situation. And yet their eyes lit up, their smiles lit up. When they showed us their home, they were so excited. They played with us, they welcomed us, they sang for us. And giving them, the smallest amount of donations and toys and things that they needed was the least we could do, because they gave us so much more. They gave us belief. They showed us their future. They showed us that changing the world is possible. So changing the world, it requires a few things. My World Changer Speak, I talked about the three things it required. It required love. And that's really what the people of Fiji gave us. That's really what the children at that Laloma home gave us. And that's what we gave each other and what we shared with the world. Love of yourself. You need to love yourself first, because you can't pour from an empty cup. And love of others. That was something that we got so much in Fiji, sharing our love. People people who we knew for 6 days, we could just feel the love. And then belief, we could feel the belief. And then the third step, which I talk about, is action. And that's where we can all change the world. Some of the other things we did in Fiji, we did our World Changer speeches. We did our fitness goals. We all set a fitness goal when we got there, and we had been working towards that for the 6 weeks of the challenge. And we tested when we were in Fiji. And my fitness goal was to run a mile in under 10 minutes. It originally was under 11 minutes, and I decided that was too easy. So I switched it to 10 minutes. And I planned to run on the treadmill in the fitness center. And when I got there that day to do my run, the fitness center didn't have electricity, so the treadmill was powered by a battery, and the battery was dead. So I couldn't run on the treadmill. I could have waited till later in the day when the battery was charged, or I could run outside. I chose to run outside. It was hot, it was humid, and I was running on mostly a dirt path. So the run wasn't as fast as it could have been. I didn't make my 10-minute goal. I did make my 11-minute goal. And it was just the fact that I took action. I'm 62 years old. I'm in okay shape, but I hadn't been running for a while. So doing this run was me taking action, me improving my life, me setting a goal and doing what it took and trying to achieve that goal. And even though I didn't make the goal I wanted to, it was valuable because it was action. So sometimes we don't hit our goals, but we can still change the world. We can change the world with our actions. We can change the world with small steps. Things like our talks that we said. Our talks let us change the world. The documentary that we're making, we had a photographer, videographer, we had Gage and Travis who were with us, and they documented everything, pictures, videos, everything we did. And they're going to create this amazing documentary to share this with the world. And that's going to change the world. Everyone who sees that will be able to take something from it. Um, so that was another part of our Fiji trip. And then just exploring the island, relaxing, building a community. The 11 of us together, people in different areas of life, different stages of their life. We got to know each other. We got to love each other. We got to learn about each other. A lot of us will probably collaborate or work together in the future. But that building a community is another way to change the world. It's not big things. It's little steps, and every one of us can make a difference. And that's really why I wanted to share this without a guest today, is to just inspire you to think about, how can I change the world? Love. Do I love myself enough? Do I know that by loving myself, I can make a difference? Do I know that I'm an extraordinary person, that God put me on this life, on this earth for a reason? And it's because I'm amazing. It's because I'm the perfect me. No one else is exactly like me. I want you all to believe that. You're all extraordinary. You're all incredible. You all have the power to change the world through your love for yourself, and your love for others. In this time, I think with all the crazy things going on in the world, we need to love each other. Love doesn't need to be held in. We don't have a limited supply of love. We can love everyone. We can love people who believe the same thing as us. And more importantly, we can love people who believe something different. People who don't share our political beliefs or our zest for life or our culture or anything. People completely different from us in every way. We can love them too. We don't have to be alike to love. The differences are actually more important. And love is limitless. It's not like we can only say I love you to so many people. We can love every person in the world, and we're not going to run out of love. So love is really important. And then belief that we can change the world. Um, Mackenzie shared a story, and I used this story in my talk, and she used it in hers, about this little boy on the beach and the starfish, and how there was a storm and there were starfish all over the beach. And a little boy was on the beach and picking up the starfish and throwing them in the water. And a man came up to the little boy and said, little boy, what are you doing? There's so many starfish. There's thousands of them. You can't make a difference. And the little boy bent down and picked up a starfish and threw it in the water. And he looked at the man and he said, I made a difference for that one. And the amazing thing is, the day we got to Fiji, I was walking on the beach and I was looking around for shells. And I looked down and I saw a starfish, just a little baby starfish. Amazing that I even saw it. It was so small. It was a perfect starfish. And I picked it up. I thought it was going to be brittle and dead, and it wasn't. It was actually still soft and alive. And without thinking about it, I threw that starfish back in the water. And I realized that I was just like that little boy, and I made a difference for that starfish. So believing that every action we take can make a difference in the world, and then taking those small actions. Because, we don't change the world. I mean, there are people like Martin Luther King, Abraham Lincoln, Mother Teresa. They did change the world, and they had global stages, and they affected millions of people. And maybe one of us will be that. We will have a global stage. We will affect millions of people. And more likely we won't. And that's okay, because you don't need to change the world with a global stage. Ordinary people can change the world. Ordinary people taking action, sharing love, believing it's possible, and wanting to make the world a better place. Ordinary people can do extraordinary things, and the ripple effects can change the world. Little tiny things. If we just all do something every day to make a difference, we can change the world. So I'm going to end here because 20 minutes of me is probably long enough. And hopefully you will watch this and share it if you found it valuable, and think about it, because I am asking each of you right now, right here today, to do something to change the world, to love yourself and share your love with others, to believe that changing the world is possible, and to take that action. That small step, try to do it every day, one small step that makes the world a better place. And while you're doing it, follow us, worldchangers.me, on Instagram, Facebook, LinkedIn. Watch the documentary when it comes out on YouTube and become a world changer. Join us. Maybe come on one of our other retreats or do one of our challenges or join the group that's we're putting together, the community we're building. That's worldchangers.me, because I truly believe we can all change the world. Ordinary people doing an extraordinary thing, one small ripple at a time, can make a tidal wave of effect. And I love you all. And I can say that whether I know you or not, I still love you, because you're a person and you are created in God's image and you're amazing. So have a fantastic day. I hope this had some impact on your life. I hope this motivated you to maybe change the world. And I hope this brings you a little bit of joy. Have an extraordinary day. Go out there and be extraordinary. And thank you so much for listening. Bye-bye.